So 6 rounds of the World Rally Championship for 2001 have now been cleared, and I have won all 6 of them, and have a 31-point lead over Carlos Sainz. And coming out of Cyprus, we had 2 new drivers on the board who actually scored points. We had Colin McRae and we had Toshihiro Arai, the second Subaru to score points. And the other 8 are still yet to score, but I wouldn't be surprised if the number of drivers who actually score at this point winds up being 14, maybe 15. So in the constructors, Hyundai has a 28-point lead over Ford, Mitsubishi is in P3, and the other 4 are not even close. Okay, let's now move on to Acropolis.
The competition's at the halfway point, and already many have fallen by the wayside. And now the WRC heads to Greece, the land of myth and legend. The rally's tough reputation comes from the hard, unforgiving landscape. Temperatures can be as punishing as Kenya, and all around are boulders easily capable of ruining more than a driver's chances. Modern-day heroes are made or broken on the Acropolis rally.
Yeah, I figured under the circumstances it would just be easier for me to try this again, because I did have an original attempt here in Greece, and I gotta say, it went down very poorly, and for that reason alone I decided to try this again, because in all honesty, I was very not happy with my previous efforts, and in all honesty, I basically just pissed myself pretty much the whole way. In other words, I basically shit the bed on this rally last time, and I am determined to make amends from that previously shitty attempt I had.
2, 1. Go.
And make sure that this one does not feel like I have been dealt with quite as much fuckery as what I was dealt with before. Because last time I did this, it was a complete shit show. And I am very much determined to make amends from that. And make sure that this time I do not jump headfirst off a cliff. Because the last time I did that, I lost out big time, and it's happened again. Fortunately, however, I did not land on my front this time. Because if I had, then I would have pretty much broken the car in every possible metric. But luckily this time, I landed on my rear, so that means I did not do any serious mechanical damage to my car this time. Still, I gotta say, Acropolis is pretty unforgiving if you get it wrong, to say the least. Because I quite literally broke my car on this first stage in pretty much every area you could think of. Steering, gearbox, transaxle, hell, even my oil temperature was red. That's basically just the fucking price you pay. That's basically just the fucking price you pay if you go basically nose first off a cliff in this rally. That is just how severely punishing it is if you get it wrong here in Greece. And that's precisely what I found out last time. And that's why I am very keen to make amends for my previously shitty run. So Colin McRae finished P2 in the stage, Carlos P3, Armin Schwartz this time finished P4 in the Skoda, Freddie Loix 5th and Richard Burns in 6th. And there's P7 to P12, P13 to P18 with 2 Citroens, and the third Citroen was P19, with the order rounded off by Joe Panizzi. Those are the results after one stage: P7 to P12, P13 to P18, and P19 to P21, rounded off by Joe Panizzi in the 4th Peugeot. And now that I have not broken my car in every area you can single-handedly think of by jumping off a cliff, I am convinced in saying that things will go better this time. I'm also pretty sure my phone just vibrated at me. Oh well, anyway. On now to stage 2 of Greece. And where I really hope this is going to be a sign of things to come for me. Again, really doesn't help to say that with the uphill stages you basically roll backwards. That's just one thing you more or less have to cope with, I'm afraid. But anyway, I'll find a way to more or less scythe my way through it. And 8/10 ahead of Carlos and 1.25 seconds clear of Colin. I think this might be where Colin really starts to get some points on the board. And also, for these very rough, tumbling roads here in Greece, I gotta say, the short gears, they're actually working out pretty well for me. It could also be because I'm technically on rough terrain, which is the other reason why I'm doing so well. So, it's fair to say the game's default setup for Greece, it definitely works better than using medium gears. At least from my previous experience, that is. And I'm also managing to actually keep my car on the road as well, which is a bonus. For most of it, anyway. Even though I'm still having a few technical overshoots. I'm so glad I did not roll off that cliff edge. That would have been disastrous if I had. Excuse me. I think my voice is popping out of position again. Alright, well, 1.5 seconds to Colin. I can definitely say this is where I feel as though Colin is going to start mounting a charge. Really don't want to run into those rocks. I know they're called boulders, but I prefer to think of them as rocks, because that's more or less what they are. And, 4 seconds in the end over Colin. Nice. Okay. And that felt a lot better than my previous run, so that's now 2 stages down, and now we will move on to stage 3. And since this is not my first attempt of recording, I am actually going to save the replay here as well. Because I figured, why not? And yes, I will overwrite this one because this replay attempt felt way better than my previous one. So, 4 seconds in the end over Colin, 10.8 seconds over Carlos, 16 seconds over Freddy, 23 seconds over Richard, and almost 28 seconds over Armin Schwartz. There's P7 to P12, P13 to P18, and P19 to P21. As I now have a 6-second lead over Colin, Carlos Sainz is still in 3rd, Freddie Loix 4th, Armin Schwartz in 5th, and Richard Burns in 6th. P7 to P12, P13 to P18, and P19 to P21. Rounded off by Marco Martin in the Subaru. Let's now move on to Elastos, also known as Stage 3. And yes, I did actually say the stage name because, well, it's easier to pronounce. Or much easier to pronounce than the first 2 stage names. Anyway, I have a 6-second lead now, and I can confidently say this attempt is going way better than my previous attempt. I know that's for definite.
3, 2, 1,
but here we go.
go!
We now move on to
Over crest.
stage 3.
Long left 4. 50 over crest. Into very long right 4.
Just gotta make sure I put everything in order.
Left 4. Into left 3.
Alright, 1.37 seconds over Carlos,
50 over crest.
and Colin is now down into
Long
P3,
left 4.
with Tommy Mackinnon in P4 in the Mitsubishi.
Into long left 4. 50 caution over jump. Into left 2. Into long right 5.
And 6 seconds now to Carlos,
50 right
as
4
Armin
over
Schwartz is inside the top 4 at the moment,
crest.
which
Into
is
left 2.
surprising.
Into long right 4. 50 right 5. 50 over crest. 100
And
left 4.
so far so good.
50 right
I
2.
lost a little bit of time there to Carlos, but either way, I don't think it really matters because I am still out front, and my throat right now is having a really hard time trying to stay in place. Alrighty, so I continue to press myself forwards. Alrighty.
And finish.
And 9.35 seconds in the end over Carlos. Nice. So that's now 3 stages down, and we still have 2 stages to go. Alrighty. So there we go. Another stage is won, and Armin Schwartz is still inside the points. Freddie Loik's 4th and Richard Burns 5th. And in P2 and P3, Carlos now takes 2nd in the stage over Colin. P7 to P12, P13 to P18, and last but not least, P19 to P21, this time rounded off by Marcus Gronholm. So, 18 seconds over Colin, 25.5 seconds over Carlos, Freddie 4th, Armin Schwartz 5th, and Richard Burns in 6th. P7 to P12, P13 to P18, and P19 to P21. Alright, on now to stage 4, Cliddy. And this feels like it's going to be a short one, so we'll see how we go. I do have a pretty sizable gap up front, so I don't think I'll really have too much trouble in this stage. But we'll just have to wait and see how we go. At Cliddy. I hope I said that right. Anyway. 2 stages to go. Here in Greece. And oh god, it's another uphill start.
2, 1, go!
And once again, getting bogged down off the launch. I've pretty much come to accept that now, from what I can see.
50 over crest.
There's not really much else I can do in the aftermath. But I'll keep myself on the road for as long as I have to.
100 right 4.
So gained a little bit of time there, and almost got caught out by the road surface, but able to make the necessary corrections. And only lost a little bit of time in that one corner.
50 long right 5.
Anyway,
150 right 2. 150.
I can certainly say Cyprus had some parity with who precisely the point scorers were in the end.
50 left 2. Into right 4. And left 4.
And 2.4 seconds is now the gap to Carlos, as Colin runs in 3rd and Richard Burns is now up to P4.
50 right 4. Into left 5 over crest.
And I go straight into a tree. Yeah, I was gonna say, am I not back on the track already? And then the game just corrected itself. Kind of weird, but either way, as long as it doesn't affect my overall stage time, I'm really not that bothered. I do have a pretty sizable gap up front anyway, so it's not like I'm just gonna see myself just suddenly blow it away. As I'm heading over some bumps, but able to still keep my car on the road regardless. And gap is now just 3.6 seconds ahead of Colin. So Colin is definitely seeming to come into his own now, up to this stage of the season.
50 left 3 over crest. Into left 3.
And am I going to win the stage? I win it by a long way. Okay. So that is now 4 stages down, and we still have 1 stage to go. So, 8-second victory in the end over Carlos. Colin came home 3rd, Richard Burns 4th, Freddie Loix 5th, and Armin Schwartz in 6th. P7 to P12, P13 to P18, and there is the bottom 3 rounded off by Piero Liatti in the 3rd Hyundai. I have a 30.7 second gap at the front, and it looks like Armin Schwartz is going to waltz away with another point for Skoda. I don't think Tommy is going to catch the Skoda anymore. And P13 to P18, Philippe to Thomas, and there's the rest of the order. Once again rounded off by Gilles Panizzi in the Pew Show. And now we are at Canata, the 5th and final stage of Rally Greece, or more specifically, the Acropolis Rally. I'm pretty sure my lead is now more or less insurmountable, so I can probably afford to more or less have a terrible stage and yet I would still win the rally. That's basically just how far out front I now am in my Hyundai accent. So here we go. Final stage of the Acropolis Rally. Hoping to walk away as another one of the Acropolis Rally champions. To any of you who thought for sure I was going to slip off the edge, you were mistaken. Because I stayed on the road long enough to very much keep my mistakes in check. And way off the track is where I end up being. Well, I did have a huge lead heading into the stage anyway, so it's not like I really was going to see myself losing a ton of time. I did have a 30-second lead heading into the stage anyway, so I think I'll be alright. I don't think I'll really have any problems at this stage.
Right 4, into left 2, 50, right 4, caution, over jump, and finish.
And there we go, I win again. Well, Colin wins the stage, but I win the rally overall, because I had basically an enormous lead. But either way, doesn't matter because I still win the rally. And next up we have got Kenya. So the next rally is the Safari Rally. And just before we continue, I might as well save the game. since we are now halfway there with the championship. Yeah, I might as well. And I'm also going to check to see that my replay is saved. And yep, it is. Okay, cool. Alrighty. So, Colin McRae wins the final stage, myself in second, Carlos Sainz third, Richard Burns fourth, Tommy Mackinnon fifth, and Freddie Loix in sixth. And Armin Schwartz came home P8, but I'm pretty sure that's not going to be enough for him to lose his lone point. So P7 to P12, P13 to P18, and P19 to P21. I still win the rally overall by a long way. So 27.9 seconds in the end over Colin, Carlos third, Freddie fourth, Richard in fifth, and Armin Schwartz in sixth, scoring that lone point for Skoda. P7 to P12, P13 to P18 with 2 Citroens in the top 15. And there is the bottom 3 once again, rounded off by Gilles Panizzi in the 4th Peugeot. So, yeah! Acropolis Rally winners, baby! And 70 points on the board for me. I am now over double the points of Carlos. And things are now hotting up in the top 5 because Colin now moves up into the top 5. And no further drivers have added their names to the points yet. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. However, Hyundai now have 75 points and they are pulling clear of Ford. And Citroën still has no points on the board, unfortunately. Anyways, on now to Kenya.